Hi everyone, I'm Cassie, also known as Geeky Cassie, and they haven't kicked me out of the building. So I'm just going to talk to you for about 15 minutes or so, just about a few things that I think that we can do to make a difference. There's been really great speeches throughout the day and talks, panels and workshops. One of the things that's really key is being productive rather than just talking about the things that we know are issues. What kind of things can we do to help support each other, empower each other, and practical tips as well? I don't think that there's rules or anything within this space. We're all learning together, and a lot of us kind of want to improve the space that we're in. So I'm going to share some of what I've done and also what could support the platforms that I work with. I mentioned before, I am a co-founder of Black Twitch UK. Black Twitch UK is focused on amplifying the voices of Black creators that stream on Twitch and now outside of it as well as we've grown. I've co-founded this with my friend Ebonix, who also has Evolutu, which is about working with brands and kind of highlighting opportunities for diversity within gaming. Additionally, I'm a community manager of the Noir Network, which is global, and I'm also a director of Nox Lumina. Nox Lumina is focused on bespoke events, workshops, learning, and focused on the individual. When I was going to events, I noticed that they were just a one size fits all. It was just getting into a place and just backing loads of drinks. I wanted to do something that was kind of inclusive for everyone. And that kind of highlights what we're going to be talking about today, which is equal access to opportunity. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about location, information sharing, not gatekeeping, and more. And also allyship. It's really easy. The people that are having these conversations aren't necessarily in the room all the time. A lot of us already know, a lot of us care about it, but it's about having conversations with the people that don't necessarily care about it and also who can support and who have the funding. So, how do we do that? When we're looking at the spaces that we're in, part of what I do with Black Twitch UK is sharing the opportunities that come towards me. A lot of the conversations and questions I get asked is, how do I get this opportunity? How do people find me? And how can we create more opportunities for others? We started with one brand coming to me and asking me to do something around a game or a launch or inviting to an event. And then I would say, okay, instead of it being a plus one, can I plus 30? And that's how we'd get more people invited along. I think discoverability is one of the hardest things when it comes to the space. I think there's good intentions when it comes to brands, like they want to work with people, but they don't necessarily have the links or the connections. And if we want to tackle unconscious bias, it's also about opening the doors for other people. So what I do is try to, any opportunity that I've been given, try and bring other people into those opportunities. And that's what my colleague on Black Twitch UK does as well. We started with making a list of maybe 5, 10 creators. It grew to about 50 and then 200 or so. And we wanted to do that so it wasn't behind a paywall. If a brand wants to find more creators that are Black on the Twitch, then they could just go through the list. And there's a diverse list of creators. It's more about creating inclusivity rather than exclusivity. But the other side of it is about having the tools to know how to access the space and also how to work with brands. So I set up workshops. It started off with things like panels like this, information sharing, talking at places and being able to share my experience. But then after a while, people got tired of hearing my list and wanted to hear from other people. So it was about bringing other people in. And what I want to encourage is more people, more brands talking about how do you work with them? How do you get access to paid opportunities? Because there's not enough conversation about that. Today, I was asking creators about how they reach out to people, and they don't necessarily know how to do that all the time. So I wanted to create events that would be able to share that information properly. I teamed up with Safe in Our World. Next year, we will be doing something called the Gamer Health Hub, which will be focusing on different aspects of health throughout the gaming space, as well as mental and physical. We're also going to be talking about financial literacy as well. I think one of the main things that I got shocked about is how much money is floating around and how much money is not floating around for initiatives and working with people within the space. How to do pitch decks as well, how to draw up contracts, how to read the contracts, how to do accounting, and that's part of what we're going to be doing throughout these events. The reason why that's important is because when an individual is pitching towards a brand or you're doing events, going in there blind means that you're already like on the back foot. And this is the information that other people are sharing that I noticed that other creators like me weren't getting. I had to do a lot of work to find out those things. So we want to go beyond the part of like, oh yeah, diversity just for the sake of it. We want to give people the tools to actually go into the spaces and learn. And the people that have the access to do this and have that knowledge, we kind of want that as well. I'm kind of limited for what I can do because everything that I've learned is from people within the space that have been allies for me and shared that information. But we need more people doing that, and we want to create the skills to do for everyone to do that, and not just one person. It shouldn't just be myself. It shouldn't be just Ebonics. It shouldn't just be Black Twitch UK going out to teach people. There should be like hard workshops for people to actually learn these things so that we can grow as businesses as well. So that's also focused on being an ally. Things that helps within this space is one, looking for different types of creators. We spoke about having unconscious bias. It means that you connect with people that you kind of have similarities with, but there's an importance to highlight difference. There's an importance to highlight diversity in an authentic way. I'm all for dragging people when they're doing things. I love when community managers doing great jobs, but there's also a case of needing to moderate yourself. Recently, I saw a community manager saying that for people to work with the brand, that they need to be like best friends with them and they should be someone that they want to have a drink with. I think these are the things that become dangerous within the gaming space because there's no moderation of how they are with the community and no moderation within themselves as well. That's not what we want to do. I think it's okay to want to work with different people and not be trying to find friends. That's an issue, and that's an issue that's growing within the space. Being an ally means being able to listen, being able to provide tools, ways that brands have helped me. I wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for the community managers that have shared my name with other people. When I've pitched to them, said, okay, this is great. This is what I think you could do. This is what you can do for the future if you wanted to do this with other people. I think that feedback's really important for us. It's about opening the doors, giving us the tools to be able to do things. And also, it's a lot of the work that we end up doing is someone else's job, but being able to see the impact that you make for creators, being able to get them like money, being able to be invited to events by like non-endemic brands is so satisfying. Ways that I want people to be able to support us is by reaching out to us and saying like, these are a lot of opportunities that we can do, giving people products so that they can make better productions, teaching about productions, teaching about the things that you don't necessarily learn when you just come in as a creator. And I think that needs to go in with the education of being in the game space as a brand, but also safeguarding. It's important for us to feel safe when we're going into places. It's important for there to be some kind of guidelines or rules. And I'm hoping that as we get into some more standardization within the gaming space, people feed into that so that we've got something structured that the gaming space is leaning into. I think it's really scary times at the moment with like job losses and the people being unsure. And the one thing that kind of gets us through that is community and communication for many things, and building networks and allowing people access to those networks so that they can, whether it's re-entering into the gaming space or kind of like communicating that and focusing on mental health, will also grow our space into something positive. So that all goes underneath educating and raising awareness. Ways that we can do that is, again, sitting in these talks, taking notes from these talks, but also sharing it. Um, it's a great opportunity to be included by women in esports. It would be great to see even more diversity here. It would be great to see like brown girls talking. It would be great to see different levels of accessibility being highlighted. And also the information that we share here being shared out into the community, being able to have the conversation and keep the conversation going, and this being led to like decision makers in offices, and the people that are making the decision with funding, because behind all of this, all of these ideas need money. So who's going to give us their money? As part of building that is building stronger networks. Our networks that we have often end up being the same circle, and then we get stuck in the same kind of like brands and the same people that we know. um, Being able to reach out to different people and making an active choice to do that. I do the same thing as well. It's really easy for me when I'm running events to kind of like send it out to a list, and then you end up seeing the same people and you get stuck. Creating equal access to opportunity would be being able to share things online for people that don't necessarily have the funding to be able to attend events, being able to create funding for people that need to go to their events, because that's how like jobs are found, that's how information is shared. Um, Being able to take resources to other people and sharing that information, and also including people that you haven't necessarily invited to events before. Not everyone has to be your friend. It's just if they are safe to work with and they would make good colleagues, that's the main thing that's important for us. So watching this, what can you do? So as well as being part of a diverse community, can also be an ally. The opportunities that you have and the opportunities that I have, I want to share and be able to include other people in that. So the same thing should be for everyone. And then we can make those windows and doors open. And then we've got more free flowing and equal access for all. And that's kind of what we wanted to highlight today. So some of the brands that I think are doing a great job, in fact, I don't even know if I can do, I mean, just say it in a loose way, ways that brands have worked that have helped us or helped me in regards to the projects that I've worked with. Um, they If they've invited me and they said, "Oh, we've got a game code for this," I've also said, "If you provide me with 30 other codes, I would be able to get you streamers that do this, this, and this. This is the kind of content that we would be able to make." And that means that one, it creates opportunity for more creators. Two, it shows a versatility in more emerging creators. And three, it's diverse. It doesn't mean that it's not the same people all the time. And with that, many things have grown from that. Creators have been shown on like TV. They've created content that's gone viral. It can be a win-win. Other things have been like products that have been sent over that have improved the quality of what I've done. People sharing information that have helped me pitch and create some of like the best events that I've done. I've been able to do like innovative things, and that's all because of people sharing information and kind of communicating that. And also sitting down and listening. I think that people are well intentioned, but if you're constantly like criticizing and saying like, this is all the things that you've done wrong, and not providing anything productive or providing anything with information or education, and we get stuck in a circle. So what can we do to go past that? And that's like funding education for it. That's not to say that we sit there and we can consult for free, but I think that we can provide tools for everyone to reach out for. And Safe in Our World is one of the a great platform. They do things for mental health. They provide things for like a community manager, like resources, and they give you kind of like hard like decks and things to put out, and they have great journals as well. So I have a whole list of things out there that I can share for anyone that wants to know more. For allies that want to support and have ideas of what they can do, speak to more creators, speak to us as a platform. That Twitch UK is there, Noir Network is there, and so is this is just like plugging everything, but it's not. But it's because I've built up these communities so that I could do more. and also Nox Lumina as well. So I'm keen to get excited and do things for Q1. I think that's what brands should be doing now as well. How can they be good allies? How can we look at funding and working on the community, and how can we be safer and standardize what we're doing? So thank you so much. Okay. Oh, wait, I was going to leave. But there's an audience question. Give me a second. If I don't know how to answer this, I'm cutting off the internet. Hi, Cassie. I've always been very interested. Can I read this out? Okay, cool. Oh, this is much more comfortable. I can deal with the questions. Hi, Cassie. I've always been interested in what you do. Thank you for your contributions to the UK esports and gaming scene. That's so nice. Can you speak more about how to support and encourage allyship, and how is best to include men in discussions about safe spaces for women as an example? Okay, good. I love this, because a lot of the time, my male friends that are in this space have actually helped me with different things, like the conversations that they're having. They're like going to the pub and having conversations with decision makers, and they've shared that information. One, inviting to events as well is really is key and is important. Again, we're talking about like equal access to opportunity, listening as well. No, we're not a monolith, but like having those open conversations with other women in the space is important. Attending things like this helps. Giving us the tools to be able to like navigate spaces that women aren't usually, not say allowed to, but haven't been made the most comfortable with. I went to an event last year. I was one of two women, and I was the only Black woman there. And some of the jokes, they weren't like things that I would say were overly offensive, but I just felt excluded when I came there, and there was a sort of hush. And then it went from talking about like fun things in gaming to like talk about struggle. Maybe I just want to talk, crap about Mario Kart sometimes. So creating a space that's inclusive and fun for us as well, because it's not every day let's struggle, and being open about where we are as well. And when it comes to like educating us about like, sharing information, that's really important. If you get invited to an activation and you think there's someone else that would be good for it, suggest them. Say, I think this person would be good. If you go into, I'm very frank, when I was going on to like a panel and there was only like just me that was the other, I was like, you can put in a bit of work to find some more creators. What can I do to offer more creators that would be diverse? Because if we're trying to do something and the intention is good, we can put a little bit of the work in for that. Also, thank you for the nice things. I need the reassurance sometimes. Another thing that I wanted to kind of touch on as well is that I think people see you doing things, and just because you're out there, I'm sure everyone's tired of my face, doesn't necessarily mean that, you're still getting funding for things, you're still getting like opportunities. I think it's about keeping the support consistent, because I haven't like made it, So still back me, still bring me things, still include the creators I work with. And I also do the same. As much as it sounds like, okay, this is all the things that you should do as well, this is what I do as well, I'll always like try and share opportunity, because I don't like gatekeeping. I think the best thing that we can do is try and be as inclusive as possible, like I said, and that's again key, like inclusive rather than exclusive. Also, if you want me to go through his phone, I can do. We're going to go through your phone. Thank you for the question. And also, was there anything else before I... Okay, so thank you for your question, one. And two, before I go, I wanted to say it's really important to not be afraid to like speak up about things. So use your platform for like goodness. I will always be vocal, even if it doesn't, even if it upsets people. So I will 100% be like, free Palestine, do all the things to not be afraid to be honest, because if you don't stand up for anything, you'll fall for anything, or whatever the saying goes. So yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Free Palestine, be good.